Hi everyone, we're going to talk about the safety operation of the table saw. Probably the most dangerous tool in the shop, but when used correctly, it's a wonderful tool and can do many things. So number one, operate with only instructor's permission. Remove jewelry, combine long hair, and eliminate loose clothing. Make sure all guards are placed and operating properly. Always use iris protection, and all materials should be inspected for defects such as warps, knots, and foreign objects such as nails and other things like that. Okay, number six, never set the machine with a stock or piece of wood touching the blade. Very important. Never perform layout work or setup work on top of the table saw. It's a large table, and lots of students like to use that area for setup work, but it's not a good practice to do. Always use guards, splitters, and anti-kickback paws whenever possible. This just past year, I installed a new guard on the table saw for that purpose. It's pretty high end and makes using the machine much more safer for all people. Always use a rip fence or the cutoff guide, miter gauge. You must use one or the other, never freehand. So when you're using the table saw, you never freehand cut. You have to use the fence, which is basically the long bar that runs parallel to the blade, or the miter saw, which runs perpendicular. We use either one or the other, never both together. Stand on one side of the saw while operating. I tell people to stand onto the left side of the blade. The kickback is likely to happen to the right of the blade, so always stand to the left. Keep your hands and fingers away from the blade. Never attempt to free a stalled saw without turning off the machine first. Number 13, avoid kickback. So that's having the wood shoot back at you by keeping the blade sharp, keeping the rip fence parallel to the blade. If you find it hard cutting, let me know and I'll make adjustments. Using the guard and the splitter for every operation. Pushing the stock past the saw blade before release. Never rip a piece of stock that is twisted, warped, or doesn't have a straight edge or guide to go along the fence. Never saw a large piece of stock that cannot be controlled. One example of this is a large piece of 4x8 plywood. I always get someone else to help me because it's a large piece of wood. Use a feather board when anti-kickback paws cannot be used. Never rip a piece of stock that is shorter than 10 inches. Okay, number 14, turn off the machine, disconnect from the power source before installing or removing accessories, before adjusting or changing setup, or when making repairs. And number 15, turn the blade down into the lowest position when finished. Forgot to mention that ripping is when you cut a piece of wood in the same grain. So let's say this is a piece of wood. If I cut it down this way, this is called a rip. So you can see the fibers go. This is my fingers. The fibers go this way, and I cut parallel to that. So it's called a rip. If I cut across it, it's called a cross cut. So that's the difference between a rip and a cross cut. Thank you, and that is the safety operation of the table saw. Thank you.